In the late 1840s, E.D. Sowers opened a general store in a settlement 11 miles northwest of Dallas. As the community grew, the whole area came to be known as Sowers Store, and it wasn't until 1881 when it received its official post office delegation that the name was shortened to simply Sowers. By 1884, the population had grown to about 75, and Sowers had the store, a church, a doctor, a school, and a blacksmith. The population continued to rise to 121, but despite this increase in residents, the post office closed in 1905. Dallas, which had ballooned to a population of over 42,000 by this point, was just too close by to warrant the Sowers post office. The population remained fairly steady until the Great Depression hit. Many of the small community's businesses closed and the population dropped to only around 30 people. Sowers did see some action in the 1930s though. In 1933, about a mile outside of Sowers, infamous outlaws Bonnie and Clyde were ambushed by local law enforcement. They were both injured but escaped. Two of the lawmen went on to participate in the final, fatal ambush that ended the lives of Bonnie and Clyde a year later. Eventually, in the 1950s, the community of Sowers was annexed by the growing city of Irving, and the only remnant left today is the old Sowers Cemetery. A plaque commemorating the cemetery reads as follows. Burial plot was begun in 1868 when a woman and her daughter, whose names have been lost, were interred on the land of Sevier Smalley, a local landowner. In 1874, Edmund D. Sowers and his wife Freelove donated one adjoining acre as a public burial ground. In his family lot, Sowers had an impressive monument erected using proceeds from sale of 65 acres of his land. Additional property was donated by Otis Brown. Many pioneer settlers of this area are buried here. Visiting the cemetery was surreal, standing in those last vestiges of this community that was swallowed by progress. Hearing the blaring car horns from the nearby highway as I read the name of those pioneers etched into the stone. I couldn't help but notice family names like Story, who I'd assume the nearby Story Road is named after. Or the historical marker on the grave of one Daniel Webster Gilbert, which read, Mississippi native D.W. Gilbert came to Texas in 1874, graduated from Missouri Medical College in 1881. He began his practice in Euless and Grapevine. In 1884, he moved to Sowers, purchased 1,500 acres of farmland, planted a peach orchard, and operated a dairy. He relocated to Irving in 1903, becoming one of the area's first physicians and a civic leader. Respected and beloved by those he served, Gilbert was buried here among his family. None of the buildings of Sowers are left standing, but monuments to its people are. The cemetery, where all those pioneers came when their lives ended, in turn keeps the spirit of the town alive.